So the broad goals of the annual institute: renew and build our network of professional educators, explore and learn about new building technologies. We sometimes reference these things as drinking from a fire hose. Some of you will experience that. Explore the strategies we can use to teach energy efficiency and sustainability. And perhaps most important, participate in lab activities to gain knowledge, practice new skills, develop lesson plans, and engage in metacognitive analysis. That's a mouthful, isn't it? But what I'm trying to say there is that we're going to be doing some lab exercises this afternoon and tomorrow afternoon, and at the lab as well. For some of you, it'll be just a review. You'll be very familiar with it. For others, it'll be new. For those of you who are very familiar with these exercises, we'd like you to think about what you're doing as pedagogy. And is it effective pedagogy? How could it be improved? What's working? What isn't? So this kind of meta-analysis while you're actually going through the exercise. Does that make sense? A few high points of the agenda. Obviously, one of the things that people really value about the Institute is the opportunity to network, and you hopefully will have opportunity to do that. Steve Taylor is here. He's already introduced himself. Last year, we had Jay Santos talking. We've had various controls people. Steve is working on ASHRAE 36, which is looking at high-performance sequences of operation for HVAC systems. It's kind of where the technician and the engineer are meeting. And are these sequences too complex? Are they manageable by technicians? That's a question that I have and that we'll kind of explore with Steve. As I said, we'll have 2 lab activities. We'll rotate between those lab activities. One will be working with BAS trainers, and we're going to split into 2 groups. And the other group will be working in our HVAC lab doing energy analysis and measurement. And then the group that's in B150 this afternoon will go to A191 tomorrow, and the other group will come over. So we hope to keep you busy and engaged. We mentioned the sharing of innovative approaches to energy storage that we'll get this evening. We're going to be doing a field trip to a zero net energy building. I think it's about, Larry, how many square feet is that building in Richmond? How many stories is it? It
is a 2-story building.
2-story, okay, I lied. And they have a lot of renewable energy on site, and it should be a very interesting field trip. And of course, we'll be at Lawrence Berkeley Lab on Thursday, getting a lot of information from research scientists, as well as our co-PI on grid management. We'll be doing a follow-up exercise using SkySpark. And our keynote speaker on Thursday evening will be talking about climate uncertainty and water resources. And we are trying to put together a panel for Friday morning on the challenges and opportunities for teaching sustainability concepts to technical students who may or may not be receptive to the whole idea. Ted is going to lead that panel, and he's looking for volunteers, for participants. So some of you may want to share what you've learned about that. And then finally, we'll be sharing out on Friday as well. Oops. Any questions?
Right there.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
One of the things I've always wondered is why commercial buildings are never comfortable. And I realize that with controls, we have very fine-grained control, but they're controlling very coarse-grained equipment. And I'm wondering how much feedback there is to HVAC designers from something like this to develop something where you do have more fine-grained control. If you look at this room, it's really hot over here, it's cool over there. These are wonderful windows, we don't want to lose those windows, but somehow, you know, there's not, that concept has not seemed to have made it into HVAC design in my experience.
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole industry, from the architecture to the contractor to the technician installing, and ultimately to the guy trying to make the whole building work, is very disarticulated. And it's just the nature of the industry. Now, what our next speaker is going to be talking about is taking an approach where we universalize, if you will, control sequences so that it makes it easier for the controls companies to pull and implement so that at least the control sequences are working properly in theory. So that'll be a big step. The design phase of construction is really crucial. I mean, obviously, the rubber hits the road there. Unfortunately, most of our built environment is already built. And so we're really dealing with all of the flaws that you're pointing out.
Some of the biggest challenges we have, and I know in Texas, and it goes from residential to commercial to building, are the challenges of air distribution. It's just something that nobody wants to harness or interpret. So you get the communication between the design of the building, the design of the air distribution system, and the communication and controls, and there's nobody talking. So you have that, that's something that as we move into BAS, no one's really addressed that air side of it. Whether it be a small building, a large building, and what do I do about it? Someone talked earlier about a project we're working on in the committee, and that's really what it's about.
Right. Sorry, now I'm giving you the mic. Can you repeat that? Right. Okay.
One of the biggest challenges we've had, and I know I speak for Texas, we have air distribution problems. In the residential side is who is going to interpret how to design the system. How is the installer going to do it correctly? So when you get a building design, you've got a building design, you've got the distribution system design, and then you got communication. Now you got your controls, but they're not talking. They're not communicating. So we do know we need a little more cooler air there at your point. We need some warm air over here, but it's those controls communicating and somebody interpreting that, inputting that information. And that's where we need to marry our system design with the controls.
Yeah. Ted?
Do we have any other questions?
Time?
Or okay.
Any other quick
Yeah, we'll
comments
Yeah.
or questions?
Kind of one last question. Yeah.
Being that the room is full of educators, I think this is just one really quick point. A building can be designed well, the automation systems can be installed well, but the facilities people that are maintaining these systems, if they're not educated and they don't know how to work with these systems, and they're manually writing dampers closed and valves open, the BAS system can be installed perfectly, but if the valves, actuators, dampers are not being correctly maintained and serviced by the field personnel that we're training, it doesn't matter. So we have a room full of educators here, and it's up to us to make certain that the people we're training know how to work with the systems.
Is that an amen from you, Bob? Amen, amen. All right.